Hey gang, welcome back to another video. Now it probably comes as no surprise that I enjoy spending time at Disneyland. And when I'm not loitering outside of the Haunted Mansion, I'm usually walking around Galaxy's Edge admiring all of the theming, especially the signs. So in this video, I'm going to bring a bit of Batuu into my shop by scratch building one of the signs from the Black Spire Outpost marketplace. So let's get into it. Before I could get started making the sign, I was going to need a template. So I hopped into Adobe Illustrator and drew one up using this photo as a reference. And while I don't actually know the dimensions of this sign, I'm guessing it's somewhere around 15 inches tall. So I rotate my design and then set the scale to 15 by 8 and I can move on to printing it out. Because the sign was larger than a single sheet of standard printer paper, I selected the Tile Full Pages option from the scaling menu within the print dialog box, which will break up my design across multiple pages to then be reassembled with a bit of tape to create the full-size template. And just like that, I have my full-size template and can get to trimming it down. I'm cutting this on top of a piece of cardboard, which I don't recommend because this fresh razor blade is getting hung up on all of the inner corrugation, but it worked in a pinch. A self-healing mat would have been the better choice. For this build, I decided to use 5mm EVA craft foam, since I had it on hand and I thought I'd go low-tech for a change, although cutting this with a laser would have been faster and definitely more accurate. Now, rather than outline my template onto the foam, I'm going the lazy route, and instead I dusted the foam with a bit of spray paint at a distance. I don't need heavy coverage, just enough to help show me the outline of the sign. And after a bit of dry time, I grabbed my razor blade and got to cutting, but this time on a piece of MDF. I repeated the steps for the middle layer of the sign, using it to help define its position on the backer foam and again on the 3mm craft foam I'll be using for this layer. And once it was ready, I cut out the middle layer and then it was time to get to texturing. My recollection of these signs was that they had a bit of texture on them, and so I grabbed some acrylic modeling paste and a brush and started to add texture in a pouncing motion all along the painted area, since I want to keep the surfaces where the pieces will be glued together free of texture. When it came time to do the middle layer, I realized I hadn't defined where the numbers will go. So I put them in place and dusted it with spray paint, and then I could get back to adding texture. This step got repeated on the numbers, and then I set them all aside to dry. Once the modeling paste had dried, I grabbed a burnt red spray paint and added some color to the back panel. Now this should have been a bit more of a burgundy red, but again I was working with what I had on hand, and this should do just fine. The modeling paste was still a bit tacky on the middle piece, so I moved it out of the way and could get to the numbers. This peacock blue is my favorite color of blue in a spray can, and while it's also not the right color, I think in my finished sign, it looks relatively close. Of course, these pieces of foam weigh nothing, so I had to kind of chase them around, but I got them all painted, eventually. Lastly, I shifted the red and blue pieces out of the way, and I added a bit of white to the middle layer, trying not to go so heavy that I can't see where my numbers should go. Because it was an overcast day, it was taking forever for the paint to dry, but after a quick break, I could get to assembly with a bit of contact cement. I started with the outer edge of the back panel and worked my way around until it was completely covered. Then I hopped over to the middle and repeated the same steps, making sure that the contact cement was pushed all the way out to the edges to prevent it from curling up over time. These pieces were allowed to dry until they were just barely tacky, and then I could press them together, being sure to work out any trapped air pockets. When it felt like the two layers were bonded, I shifted my attention to the numbers and repeated the same steps. This sign has some corner hardware, which I made from some of the leftover 5mm foam. Now admittedly, I cheated and used the laser, but I knew I wouldn't be able to get them perfectly round and didn't have the patience to hand cut the interior hex pattern. Plus, the whole point of tools is to make our lives easier, so you can't fault me for that one. This corner hardware got glued in place with a bit of CA glue, and while I had it in my hand, I used it to glue down any edges that weren't stuck in place. With everything painted and assembled, it was time to lock in my colors with a clear coat, and once it was dry, I could get to aging this piece. For the aging, I'll be using this raw umber airbrush paint mixed with a bit of water in a tiny spray bottle. The entire piece got sprayed, and then I randomly blotted away the brown wash with a damp sea sponge. This step got repeated with some dry time in between to create some buildup, and then I switched over to a brush with some raw umber acrylic paint and added in some more detail, like runs and general discoloration across the entire sign. While I waited for the brown paint and wash to dry, I grabbed a bit of burnt sienna acrylic paint and used it to create a bit of rust on all of the hardware, as well as some runs below the hardware. I started to go back and forth between the raw umber and burnt sienna to give the sign more character and get it looking a bit more like my reference photo. This approach helped to give it more depth, which was much needed since the sign itself is pretty plain. But I also didn't want to go too crazy, which is why it looks like I'm adding paint and then removing it, only to add more paint back in the same area. Weathering and aging is a fine line, and it can be just as easy to do too little as it is to do too much. The last step in the process didn't quite work out how I'd hoped, but it was completely my fault. I dusted the piece with a bit of the white spray paint I used on the middle layer to try and give it a sun-bleached look. but I hit it a bit too hard and created some harsh lines that I needed to fix with a bit more of my brown wash. But once I'd corrected the problem, I think it turned out alright. So I'm calling this one done.
Now, while this sign isn't perfect, it's got a nice amount of character, and that is what makes it fit in the Star Wars universe. And even better yet, it didn't cost an arm. Because people seem to be losing those left and right in Star Wars. Well, that's going to do it for this one. Be sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already. But most importantly, go make something.